Hello, welcome to a very impromptu Vicki Explores. We've just jumped on the train at Corrour station and we're heading one stop to Ranek. We've got off at Ranek. I'm saying we because Jeff's behind the camera, but this is a Vicki Explores. We've come through Ranek, we've stopped at Ranek on the train, but we've never actually got out and done an explore. So we're looking for the tea room, the little information centre, and I think there's an old signal box, or there's some signal levers we can look at. And then we're going to show you how you can walk from Ranek back to the wonderful Corrour. The Ranek Station Tea Room is open 6 days a week, not Fridays, between 8 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. They also host evening events during the summer months. Inside, the delightful environment is complete with railway and fishing memorabilia. Fishing on the nearby locks is a popular pastime here. That was the tea room, just fueled up for our walk. The tea room claims to be the remotest tea room in Scotland, if not Britain. It does a delicious variety of cakes and treats. I've got a tunnocks for the walk, but just next to the tea room on the platform is the old signal box, so let's go and take a look there. So Ranek Station is part of what is known as the West Highland line, and it's 99 miles long, and it was built by over 5,000 navvies. The bit across Rannoch Moor was probably the most treacherous part to build, and they had to actually float the railway on a bed of bushwood and other plants to actually get it in place. The navvies who worked here actually made a little sculpture of a gentleman who kept the funding for the line going. You can see that somewhere at the end of the station. I think it's here, so we'll go and check that out in a minute. But in the meantime, not that one, this one. There are a few trains coming. This is a carved stone of a gentleman called Mr. Renton, and because the line was taking so long to build, because of the challenges of the moor itself, it was losing money. But Mr. Renton gave a lot of his own personal money to keep the project going, and it said that the navvies carved this for him, and this has actually now been declared a monument in a way of historical significance. So this is the visitor centre at Ranek Station. It tells you about the history of Rannoch Moor, about the wildlife, the incredible sphagnum moss, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. It talks about the history of the railway, how it was built. There's a display of photos. They have a photo competition here at the station every year. And at this end, there's a sign that says Corrour, which if you keep going, which we're going to be doing in this direction, you will reach Corrour. There's also this very cute and I imagine original little ticket hatch to buy your tickets. It's time for a walk. Rainbow. Today, the moor is home to an array of animals, plants and insects, but in its past it was also a place where fugitives and outlaws would come to hide. One in particular, known as the Big Sergeant, became quite notorious for robbing the rich and giving to the poor, a sort of Scottish Robin Hood. Or maybe Robin Hood was an English Big Sergeant. You can probably hear running water in the background, which is one of the things that makes Rannoch Moor quite a damp place. But also one of the reasons why it's so damp, and particularly why it's so boggy, is the sort of moss that grows here. It's called sphagnum moss. It can hold 8 times its own weight in water. And incredibly, it has been used for a variety of different things, including dressing wounds during the First World War. So I don't think experienced walkers would say this was a difficult hike, but if you're used to, you know, London, there are little hilly bits. We're 8 kilometres in. We think we've got maybe 4 or 5 kilometres to go, but I think we've spotted Corrour station. So we've just spotted the old lodge. This is the old shooting lodge on Corrour, and it's just coming up here on the right hand side. Tiny bit wet, tiny bit wet. You probably could have gone a long way around, but there's Loch Ossian. So we're about half an hour, 25 minutes from Corrour station. We've lost sight of it because we had to go round the other side of the hill, but there's the loch. It's coming up to 3.5 hours walking time. We did have a few breaks. We're not the most experienced walkers. It's 18 kilometres, that's about 11.5, 12 miles. But we finally made it. The wonderful Corrour station house is here. It's time for some food, I think. Maybe a drink. If I sit down though, I don't know if I'll ever get back up again.
All the castles.